Hello, everybody. My name is Javlonbek Narimov, and I'm a student of Webster University in Tashkent. And today I'm going to show you my presentation about Azerbaijan. Azerbaijan is a country with a bright oriental flavor, beautiful nature, warm sea, and rich history. Azerbaijan is a state in southwestern Transcaucasian, bordered by Georgia, Armenia, Iran, Russia, and is also washed by Caspian Sea. The territory of Azerbaijan is 86,600 square kilometers with a population of almost 10 million people. Azerbaijan is the largest of the Transcaucasian republics in terms of area. The length of territory of Azerbaijan from north to south is about 400 kilometers and from west to east about 500 kilometers. Extreme points: northern Mount Guten, southern the Astara River, eastern oil rocks, western Lake Jandargil. Mountains occupy about half of the country territory. The fauna is diverse and has over 12,000 animal species. Baku, the capital of Azerbaijan, is a city that combines the dynamics of modern life and traditional local culture. It's called the City of Winds and the City of Lights. Baku strikes with its contrast of the newest district and business centers with interesting historical quarters and old streets. The city is located on the coast of the Caspian Sea. This location has formed a mild and warm climate in Baku. The average annual temperature in Baku and planet Earth as well is completely identical to 14.2 degrees. Flame Towers, Shahid Mosque, Government Quarter, Seaside Boulevard, Baku Port, and much more. Economic. Azerbaijan is a large oil production region. Azerbaijan is home to the first oil production from an offshore oil platform, oil call it oil rocks, which is listed in the Guinness Records book. Oil production and refining are backbone of the country's economy. The oil refining center is located in the city of Baku. Iran copper and lead ores are also mined in Azerbaijan. The canning tobacco, tea, and wine industries are also developed. In the early 21st century, Azerbaijan was one of the fastest growing economically states of the former Soviet Union.
The country is leading in terms of economy growth, especially among the CIS economies in the period from 2003 to 2008. GDP grew 2.6 times. In 2006, the country's GDP was 20.4 billion dollars. Since 1996, the country's economy growth has continued continuously. In terms of the number of foreign investments, Azerbaijan occupies one of the leading places in the CIS. The real standards of living of the majority of the population is low. The average salary is $150. Many are forced to leave the country in search of work. For 2020, the assessment of Azerbaijan's economic freedoms ranks 54th. As of 2019, the unemployment rate was 4.8%. Politics. Azerbaijan political structure. The Azerbaijani state is democratic, legal, unitary republic, developing on the basis of economic marketing relations. State power is organized on the basis of the principles of separation of powers. Legislative power is exercised by unicameral National Assembly, Milli Majlis Azerbaijani.
Culture. The official language is Azerbaijani, and the main religion is Islam. The Azerbaijani lands are inhabited by hospitable and hardworking people who highly value their traditions. And the local fertile lands regularly brings rich crops. The specificity of Azerbaijani cuisine is determined by the generous nature which gives vegetables and fruits almost all year round. Such dishes as hash, dolma, plov are popular in Azerbaijani cuisine. National traditions are the most stable. They are preserved in the culture of cooking and eating, traditional crafts and folk music, and of course the traditional respect for elders. For example, in public transport, it's customary to give way to elderly people. In Azerbaijan, there is a mountain constantly spacing fire Yandardagh and located not far from Baku. History, the main point of my presentation. Azerbaijan has really great history. The history of Azerbaijan goes back to ancient times. Already from the first half of the first millennium BC, states were formed here. Media, Atropatene, Caucasian, Albania, since ancient times. These lands have been strongly influenced by their southern neighbors, Persia, Iran. After the February and October revolutions in May 1918 in Azerbaijan Democratic Republic was proclaimed with the ruling Musavat party. It lasted until April 1920 and was overthrown by the troops of Soviet Russia. In August 1991, the independence of the Republic of Azerbaijan was proclaimed, but this state received worldwide recognition after the final collapse of the USSR, May 1919 to March 1992. And for nowadays, unfortunately, it's important to say about sad situation in Nagorno-Karabakh. We're talking about a small territory in Transcaucasian where two peoples historically lived in neighborhood, and there is a Nagorno-Karabakh and there is a plain. The first territory was dominated by Armenians, and the second territory was dominated by Azerbaijanis. Ethnic conflicts have occurred there before. In the fall of 2020, the situation in Nagorno-Karabakh deteriorated again and armed confrontation flared up. The fighting began on 26 September and continues with some pauses for a truce. Azerbaijan reported that its positions were shelled the Armenian side, therefore announcing the counteroffensive. Armenia, in turn, believes that it was Azerbaijan that attacked Artsakh. From different sides, there were reports of large losses in the enemy ranks. On July 12, Armenia and Azerbaijan accused each other of aggravating the conflict and violating the ceasefire. On July 16, the Defense Department of the two states announced of the resumption of armed clashes. The echoes of this geopolitical conflict reached other cities, including Russia. For example, in Moscow, some representative of the Armenian and Azerbaijani diasporas staged clashes. On September 27, Armenia and Azerbaijan again declared martial law due to the escalation of the conflict over Nagorno-Karabakh. World leaders reacted immediately to the situation. Most of them, such as Donald Trump, the Pope, and Vladimir Putin, called for a peaceful solution to the conflict. And thanks to giving God, as a result, thanks to the influence of Russia from November 9 and 10, the Armitsa agreement was signed by the heads of Armenia, Russia, and Azerbaijan. And thank you for your attention. I hope that you liked my presentation. Thank you again.